Welcome to the Point of Convergence podcast. I am your host, Grant Lira. Get ready to sit down, tune in, and implement. Remember, the knowledge you learn here and anywhere else in your life is only worth something to you if you use it. So get implementing after this episode and enjoy. All right, welcome back to another episode of Remodeling Millionaires. Today, we are joined by Ivan and Joe of Modern Homecrafter. Now, you guys have been in the game for quite a while. Super excited to have you on the show. How are you guys doing today?
All right, doing good. Doing amazing.
Awesome. Talking a little bit here before we started recording. Weather's finally warming up, so everybody's, happy with that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right.
So guys, let's start everything out here by just kind of, opening it up. 60-second snippet of where you guys are right now, where you focused on, kind of what you're looking forward to in the future. Like, let's hear what you guys are, where you're at.
Joe, why don't you start, man?
Okay, I guess I'll start. So just a little background. So I worked with the previous owner, with Arthur, and then Ivan decided to buy Modern Homecrafter. And so we've been working together, I would say, probably the last year and a half. And now with Ivan taking over Modern Homecrafter, our goal is really to fine tune the things that we were already good at. So we're always good at delivering high quality to really high end homes. So we definitely wanted to keep that going. But our thought process was, hey, how can we take this to a higher level? So we focused in on communication. And we decided, hey, we'd rather over communicate than under communicate. So people know, when people are showing up, what the schedule is looking like, when the materials are coming in. So that way, we're always keeping the clients in the loop. They always know what's happening. There's open communication and trust between us. So if there is like a change order or there's a question that, they don't feel intimidated, they feel like they can just pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot us an email, and we'll take care of it. So, I say we're really focused in on communication and the experience that the client has with us from start to finish, from when they see our marketing, our advertisement, the first call to set up an appointment, the in-house appointment, all the way to, the job contract being signed to the job being done and installed. So we value the customer. We see that the customer really is our whole world revolves around the customer being happy.
Yep.
Totally. Yeah, that's awesome.
Better than that.
Took the words right out of your mouth.
Yes, sir.
And then, so Ivan, you are the current owner now. And then for our listeners here, Joe, if you could just give us a little bit, of a rundown of what you do at the company, kind of what that looks like on the day-to-day.
For me or for us?
No, why don't we start like this? So why don't we start from the lead, right? And how everything goes, right? So you want
Perfect.
Step one?
Yeah.
So, let's get into that.
So right now, currently, our strategy is Facebook ads that we work together to create. So we run those ads when the ad converts to a lead on our website. So then we would give a call to kind of get the scope of the work, what they want to do. From there, we would set up our appointment, and in the appointment, we go over the scope of work, what needs to be done. We don't really like the really pushy sales approach. We feel like that era and that time is kind of over. Where we'll give you a deal if you buy now, and kind of pressuring people into that sale on that first visit. So we want people to be comfortable with us, with our products, with us as people, build that trust, and go from it of that route of not being really pushy and aligning the project to the client. That's something we kind of learned, that we don't come in with our own agenda and realize like, oh, this is only a $5,000 job. So let's see if we can talk to them into something, along the $20,000, $30,000 range. We realized that, hey, this is what they called us for. This is what they want.
Yeah.
We can offer something else, but if they're not interested, they're not interested. We're not going to be pushing them into any direction. So we're going to do the work that they want us to do. And from there, once the contract is signed, then that's when it goes over to Ivan.
That's when I
And
take
then
over.
Ivan, you can tell him what you do.
Yeah, so when I take over, I usually send them 40% down payment. And then as soon as we get a down payment, then I put them on schedule. So once we got that, talk to a customer, they're fine with the date, we'll start the project. But before we do the schedule, once I get a down payment, what I do is I order all material the customer pick. Usually when we send the customer to should I just say CFM? Yeah.
To the showroom.
To a showroom that we work with. And then customer, make his choice, pick out the tile, pick out the slabs, fixtures, whatever they need to go. And then the company we work with, they shoot me an email of what the customer picked out. And from there, I already order because I know all the square footages, all the details. From there, I make the order. And then based on when the materials coming and how busy we are, then I go to schedule and then we'll start the project. So that's basically it,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I like what you guys said, because I think a lot of people need to realize that, like, that pressure, those high pressure sales tactics and like getting people to move forward right away. A lot of the times people can catch on to that, right? People are smart enough to see when that's happening. And if anything, that just pushes people away. And Joe, when you said, that era is over, you're 100% right, brother. It definitely is. And really not being there as a salesperson, but as a coach and kind of guiding them through their process of where they're going to go, how everything's going to look. That is such an easier way to get to the same end goal of, working with somebody, and you're just going to get a lot less resistance. And I like what you,
And usually it was, we get in, like, let's say we get in a neighborhood, we get 2 or 3 more houses down the road out of the neighborhood, So usually once we get there, and a lot of jobs that we have is a word of mouth. They share the experience. They share you could check us out on Facebook or Google it, and you'll see how your reviews are. Most of the things that I say, people, they have an experience with us, how things are moving, how things are going, it's just how, organized. It's construction. You can't be 100% organized, but, we try to be, So all that, because you can't really see things until you start opening the walls. You can't really.
Exactly.
Until you start breaking things apart, then you see things that you gotta change, because you can't really see it once the stuff is in there.
Yeah.
So that's how the process usually is. There's something. Pretty much, there's something that you can't really you see when you're doing a bid. This is where the change order comes, and then that's where, if there's a situation where customer can say, they just want to leave that, or they just want to go ahead and fix that, so it's up to the customer again. So we can recommend them, we can tell them what's the best, but they make the choice.
Yeah, you're never going to push them one way or the other, right? Because what that'll do essentially is lead them into, not being as happy if they do decide to work with you after that. But more importantly, they're going to tell their friends and whoever else is around them when they ask, like, oh my God, beautiful kitchen, beautiful whatever. Who did it? Oh, cool. How was the experience working with them? And then they're going to say, it was all right. They fighting us a little bit.
Yeah, there's projects that we started with the master bathroom. So we end up doing the kitchen, we end up doing a whole bathroom, we end up doing fireplaces,
Like Sean, we did his master, then we did his upstairs bathroom, then we did his downstairs bathroom, then we did his kitchen,
and now we're up the
and then he wants to do his roof. We're like, okay.
Something happens when you guys have great service and you're actually, very transparent with the customer. It's something I like to call the good idea fairy comes and visits the customer, and it gives them all these good ideas. And but that's not going to happen if they're mad at you guys and they want you to get out of their house. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I like that a lot. And going back to kind of like looking at the first thing we were talking about here. So you guys are getting a ton of word of mouth referrals. That's obviously from, being very, very professional, great communication. I know you guys expressed that earlier. Now on the paid side of things, when you're marketing, because I know a lot of people are kind of in the spot of like, do I market? I've had bad experiences in the past. Like, where do I go from there? How did you guys land on using Facebook ads? Like, what was your thought process there?
So my thought process, because I deal more on, I would say marketing and sales side, is it's through trial and error on my part. And so we were using like a service, like a home advisor and companies like that, you would buy leads. But I was looking at that marketing strategy and how many leads we were getting, how many of those leads were converting into an actual project for us. So I knew that there has to be a better way to get clients and good quality clients. So that's when we started trying out Facebook ads, and we had a Facebook page, and we created an ad where they can fill out the contact form on the actual ad. Yep. Which we found out really quick that that's not the greatest to have somebody be making a $20,000-$30,000 buying decision off a 5-second ad. Mm-hmm. And that was apparent when we would call them. And let's just say that they used some words that I don't want to say right now. And basically would hang up the phone. So then I realized that I have to make a hub somewhere where somebody can get comfortable with us before communication is made. And that's where I started leaning towards the website being the hub where, from the website, they can go check Google if they wanted to. They can look us up. They can read some reviews. But I wanted a place for them to safely take a look at us without any type of commitments. So that's where we went towards the website. We built the website. And then, the website has a contact form. So we decided to have all our traffic go towards the website. And then from the website, it turned into the contact form being filled out for us to get new clients. So that's currently where we're at. We found that it is a little bit more advantageous. It has more advantages for us as a company because we've already kind of built some type of trust, and they're reaching out to us. So they're already showing a level of interest in our company versus us flooding them with, like spam emails or cards in the mail. Yep. They're approaching us for our services versus we're trying to, shove our services down their throat, Yeah. So. Yeah,
100%. And looking at your guys' website, I see it over here right now. And I'll say this, like, first impressions, it's gorgeous. Like, it's a really well thought out website. You got a ton of pictures on there. Now, something else that I really do like are those pictures, but more importantly, the gallery. Like, so many people in this interior remodeling space, they don't document what they do. And it literally takes almost no time to, snap a picture. Now you should be having, professional pictures done or just really good quality pictures. But I mean, that's huge. You land on somebody's site and you can't actually see the work that they do. I mean, for me, at least, that's a huge red flag. So always documenting that stuff is amazing. And just circling back on what you said, Joe, about Facebook, so true, dude. Trial and error is really what Facebook is. Like, you need to be able to understand, and this goes for all marketing, you need to be able to understand that testing is going to get you the best results possible. Because if me or Ivan or somebody was just saying, oh yeah, I think this will work, let's do it, and we just run it full speed, dump all the ad budget into there, we don't know. Like, we don't know. Like, doing those tests is so huge, and it'll make or break you, essentially. And
we experimented with YouTube and Instagram. Instagram has generally a younger
it does.
crowd. So, there's not too many young girls taking selfies that want a bathroom remodel. So we kind of cut that out. And then for Facebook or for YouTube, we realized that the demographic is mainly male and young male. So,
I launched it back. So Instagram is
Instagram
it's
still
working.
going.
I got my daughter working on it.
She's young.
She's young. They know how it is these days.
Yeah.
So what I do, I just get, I snap a picture while what we're doing,
Oh, but you're talking about separate. He's talking about just posting on Facebook and Instagram, just kind of like free publicity.
Yeah, you've seen
it.
So.
Yeah. But I mean, that's important too. Like just having that content and, because people a lot of the times, they're going to look at your website. Some people are going to look at your Instagram because you guys have it linked at the top like you should. Awesome. You can check out Facebook. You can check out Instagram. And I mean, just having that like content stream and like showing what you're doing on the day to day. And so people can see into your world and see like what you guys do. One, it makes you guys more human. They see that you're actually, doing these different jobs. They see the quality of work you're doing. And again, it just kind of builds up that trust where they can learn about you on their time, right? They're not being pressured to make a decision. They're saying, okay, let's check out, let's check it out. See this, like, oh, wow. Yeah, that does look good. And right there, contact us. Too easy. I'm just going to write them a quick message. Yeah.
Yeah. Feel free to fill it out. We'll give you a bit.
Exactly. Now, so moving forward from that, more on Ivan's side of things here. Now, once people get through that funnel and they're over to you and you're taking them through the showroom, you're letting them pick out their materials. Is that something you guys have always done where you kind of have them in there, you show them everything, you let them kind of, because at that, to me, it sounds like it's almost like you're out buying a car or something and you're looking at cars and it's like, you get to see all the different types of cars, like which one you like, which one you don't like, some of the features. And I think more people should seriously think about looking at like a showroom or something like that, because it just makes a more memorable experience for people.
Well, see, it's where we send our customers, it is easy for them to make a choice there just because they got everything there.
Yeah.
So it's not like, now I'm doing one project and it's the project somebody did. Now we didn't even finish with it. So we end up breaking everything all the way to the, to just everything, and we're doing it. And it's always harder to, to fix things after somebody. You'd rather just break everything and start over. That way it's you do it right. So that person was saying, I spent 3 hours at a dowel tile and picking out the tile and still couldn't find it, So I was like, well, instead of you just being at the dowel tile and spending 3 hours there, just go to CFM. They got dowel tile, they got Emser tile, they got Florida tile, they got United tile, they got all kinds of, all combined in one. They got people that they can help you with, So we're kind of trying to make it easier for the customers to go and make a choice. Sometimes they go on their own, and choose whatever they want,
Yeah.
And still, they're making their own choice, and we just direct them to the right place, So,
going back to that, you're coaching them through and you're letting them know some of the advantages, disadvantages of like the different materials, all that stuff. But at the same time, like, yeah, they're going through there. They're making a choice at their own pace. And it's something too that can be, a little bit, it's different. And what I've seen with like people who offer true end-to-end solutions, the reviews on Google are almost always higher because they don't have to worry about hiring XYZ, like all these different people for one job. When you guys, they come to you and they do it all. It's easy.
Once you get it, well, yep.
Exactly. No, super, super, super good.
It's easy for us, and it's easy for the customers. They don't have to have all the headache. They know what they want. If they don't know, we kind of guide them. Give them a little, here and there, because we do a lot of them, so we kind of know what the modern style looks like.
Yeah.
So we kind of give them idea. We tell them this is what in style right now, so they make the choices, After that, they like at the end they're making the choice with what they want to go with. So we send them to a place where we know they will be taken care of. They're for sure they're gonna help them with the stuff when they need. So it makes it easier for everybody.
Exactly, and I mean that at the end of the day, especially in like the interior remodeling field where construction, in a sense, is kind of controlled chaos. Sometimes it's very hectic. That's something where the easier you can make it, the better, right? Not only for them but also for yourself.
Yeah. It's, I mean, why not? I mean, you got an opportunity to do it. Why don't you just use them? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And now, Ivan, I'm curious on this, brother, because you purchased this company, and now that was a while ago, but like when you were looking at buying this company, like what stood out? Like if somebody is in the shoes of, they own a company now and they're looking to sell it, what should they have? Like, what did you look for when you were buying that company? What are some things that stood out to you? What are some things you wanted to make sure it had? Like, what did that whole process look like?
Well, honestly, you know, I was in this trade for a long time, you know, so I just went with it. Because I wanted to take it to a next level, you know.
Yeah.
I've seen opportunities that I could take it to a next level where it's now, and you know, so this is where we're taking it to, you know. Me and Joe, we discuss a lot of things about it, how we can make it, you know what I mean. So my goals are, I want to be in the magazines, you know. I want to be anywhere I can be, you know. So sky's the limit, you know. So I say, if you kind of got those goals, if you kind of got those dreams, maybe you should call it, you know what I mean. In everything, you take a risk, though, you know. But
oh yeah,
it's either you go for it or you just, you know what I mean. If you know you can take it, if you can do it, do it. You know what I mean. So
totally.
That's how. I mean, it actually took me the way I bought it, because I found out on the way home already about 4:00, and this is when I found out he's selling the company. So it's the same day I made the decision. You know what I mean? Same day. It went so quick. I didn't expect that to happen, you know. But the same day, I mean, I don't know if so what I did is I actually went to the prayer, you know, church. So I was like, you know, I'm not going to give you a decision right now. I'm going to go pray about it, and then, you know, I'll give you a decision. So instead, he goes, well, I got a better proposition for you, you know. He made me even better deal than I was going to give him. You know, so I was like, okay, I got my answer, so I'm going with this. I don't even have to pray about it.
No,
no, that's funny.
So, but there's things we've changed, you know, being in business, because I also ran my whole life pretty much. I was doing business. It's just the way I was raised. Working for somebody was not my thing. You know, I did work for, you know, other people, you know what I mean? It's something that you have to survive sometimes, you know. But when you see an opportunity and then and you know you could make something out of it, you take it, you know. With the last company I had, I'm talking about years and years back, you know, I had 30 employees. You know, I was doing projects because what I did, I was doing residential, and then I moved to commercial. But I was doing commercial jobs as residential, the quality. So it took about a year for builders that I work with, and with the guys that I work, it took about a year for them to notice the difference in my job versus other companies. There were situations where they call a sales guy or the companies I work with, and they specifically said, I want this guy to be on my project. I don't want nobody else on my project, and that's it, you know. It was skeptical at first when you get into the, you know, we're talking about doing high rises, you know.
Yeah.
On the office, everything just like, you know, I mean, expensive. It's all lacquered, all cherry color, you know. At first, they are so, you know, they just first day they sleep there with you, you know. They want to make sure no dust, no nothing, you know. What I mean? So it usually takes them a day or two. After that, they're gone. They don't even show up to work, you know. So it's just the way you handle the business, you know. It's just the way. Because first impressions and it's everything, you know.
Yeah.
It's how you know. I mean, if you start messing up jobs, I mean, it happens. But when you start, you know what I mean, you start messing up jobs and you can't fix them. They're building, you know. That's their life. You know what I mean. They notice it right away if you're capable of doing it or you can't do it. You know, so. And it took about a year for them, and you know what I mean. So, but I kind of stopped it. I stopped it just for my own different reasons. I had to stop that business.
Sure.
Anyways, but I went to the level where I've done Paul Allen's personal room. His personal Blazers. He was a Blazers owner, Portland Blazers. So I did his personal room where there's only certain people can go in there.
Yeah.
And everything, you know what I mean? So that's something that I'm proud of. I get to be doing top people's places.
And that's kind of like what you're moving towards too. Like that's where the company goal is like, as you say, talking about like magazines, all that stuff, like getting that level of recognition. Like that's something that is, I think, easier than a lot of people understand it is to do if you do a few of the things right. Like you guys are on an awesome track right now, right? Like you're documenting, you're setting up the correct social media stuff. That way people can find you. You got a beautiful website. And I think what people don't realize is like, when they're doing their company and they're setting everything up, all these little things that might not seem like a huge deal are going to culminate into a massive thing. And that,
yes. So one of the things I heard, I was going through, watching YouTube and then, all that. So I ran into one of the, I'm not going to name him, but one of the billionaires is one of the billionaires. He says, and this is what I took for myself. This is how I try to run my company also. It says, don't worry about the money. Don't run for the money. Don't look for it. Take care of your clients. Make sure your clients get the best, what you can offer them. Take care of your guys you work with, and money will follow.
Yeah.
Because if you're after money, you start cutting corners. You start cutting corners, and it's not going to take long until there's one project you can end up fixing, going back, and it's just going to be a snowball. You know what I mean? So you can't really have money always. You know what I mean? So you gotta take what's the word? Pride or in your work, or you gotta deliver the best you can. And
absolutely.
I was never worried about the speed. And to me, it was always about the quality, because in commercial business, it's a speed.
Yep.
But I didn't have a speed. I had a speed, but I wasn't after the speed. I was after the quality.
Right.
And it took a year. But after the year, I was so busy, I couldn't take it all. I was sleeping in the banks. Banks were giving me the keys to open the banks, to close the banks. You know what I mean? So I just couldn't take it all. It was too much for me. You know what I mean? And with the 30 guys working for you, you know what I mean? It wasn't too much for me, but I just was overwhelmed with work. And I see people coming from union coming to work for me. Union don't have a job.
Yeah.
In 2008, when we see the economy, 2007, 2008, I didn't even know what the bad economy was. I really didn't know. You know what I mean? To me, I was like over the top.
Yep.
So this is something where, for the beginning, I took the right steps. I wasn't going for the money, I was going for the quality.
And that is so powerful and so true. We run our business on the same kind of concept. And I've heard that before, where if you really take pride in what you do and you worry about your client's success or the project you're working on, and that is your focus, you have no choice but to become rich because of it. Because if you're laser focused on that stuff, 100% money's going to follow. There's nothing you can do to stop that money from coming your way.
Clients saying, hey, I had an awesome experience with this guy. That could have cost me, you know what I mean? We found the solution, you know what I mean? We work with them. You know what I mean? We're trying to save them money too. It's not like we're trying to make money. There's things we there's things we don't make money on it. You know what I mean? But we do it anyway. It's just because overall we're making a profit. you know. But if we're starting charging for any little thing, you know, for any little screw, then of course the customer is gonna have a bad experience with you. Says, man, this is guy, you know what I mean? So it's not all about the money. Money comes after. We all need money, but when you're building a business, you're building like a, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's totally different world, you know. It's 100%. Your world, that the way you run it, you know what I mean? So it's you know, there's maybe things that I could have said, but you probably didn't come to my mind yet. But but yeah, because so many years in the field, you know, there's so many things, and I say there's in a lot of things there's no right way or wrong way. You just gotta do it the way, because people there's like tiling. You know what I mean? There's rules to it. But again, people come up with techniques. People come up with the ways to do it easier, better. You know what I mean? We're moving on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if we would have been stuck with the old days, like 20 years ago, the way they laid tile, man, right now I'm taking those things apart and I'm saying, man, that's just crazy. How people used to work with this stuff, because
constantly evaluating and evolving your process is what always needs to happen, right? That never stops. That's something you're always looking at. Just like advertising, same deal. You need to test, right? So you're tracking, you're seeing this. You're like, okay, it's working for now. Reevaluate it in a month. See if it's still working, see if there's areas where you guys could do better. And I mean, for businesses, like that's kind of everything that you need right there, is just to know, like, if what you're doing is actually getting you closer to what you want to do.
Yeah. And also we offer people, but when some people, you know, they want to work with design, we also got a designer that will work with, you know. Yeah, if people wants to design, we got a designer that we can offer you, and then, you know, from there, I mean, we pretty much try to have everything for a customer.
Yeah,
you know.
So a lot of our jobs, well, not a lot, but I'd say maybe 25% of our jobs, 25-30, come from designers that we work with. So that process typically is either the designer already has her own client that she's working with and they need just a reliable builder, and that's where we come in, and they'll already have all the plans set up, what they want to do, what's being changed, what's being moved, what's being added, plumbing's being moved. So a lot of those details are already kind of ready for us when we go and meet the client the first time. And then obviously being in the construction field, we, you know, give our input, like, hey, you can't actually do that. You know, that's against the code. So, but typically it's still a very pleasant conversation where the designers already, you know, talked about us, how we do our work, our quality, showed pictures, and then we come in off of the designer's plans, drawings.
Yep.
And we can, you know, talk about what's the best way to actually install what they drew up, give them a price, and then kind of just like any other client where we get it into production and we get it all figured out.
Yeah. Usually once designer involved in it, and then designer does its part. Yeah. And it's just like for us, it's any other client that we work with. You know what I mean? It's just the same. Just we got the only thing is we got the designer involved with, and it came from the designer. Yeah. So, but we deliver the same, and we treat him the same way, because designer gives you the plans, gives you the material, what we need, what we need basically for that job, and it's out of the way. You know, everything else will go from there. You know, so yeah. We start building whatever's being, you know, designed on the plan and drawn on the plan. Right?
Yeah, totally. And I'm curious too on more of like, we've been talking a lot about like the hardcore business side of things, but I'm curious to hear from both of you guys, like in your personal life, and as well in your professional life, I guess too, when you're like getting into this, and this is something where, you know, from the very beginning of when you started construction, sales, you know, whatever the course is, because a lot of people, when they start out, they're everything, right? They're sales, they're fulfillment, they're the owner, they're everything. The receptionist, they're everybody. So I want to hear from both of you in your own respects, like what, if you had to, you know, look back to when you started, what the most powerful skill and trait that you've developed, and something that you would have wished you started doing sooner or would have known sooner, going back to that point when you were just starting out to where you guys are now?
Well, I'd say at the time as now, if I would have had the knowledge back then, I would have been more successful. So example, I got 9 brothers. So 3 of them opened up a tile store, tile, carpet, hardwood, vinyl. Beautiful showroom, nice location. Everything's looking good. Top of the line. In style. They end up closing down, I don't know, a few months later. The problem is, just like you said, they thought they could do the job that he does. I cannot do. I could do so much of it. I'll get more experience into it, but I'm not trying to get in his field. That's his job. He's doing his own thing. That's all he worries about. I do my part. So usually it's like that. When people try to take everything, they need to do to do everything on their own. Either there's not enough money that they're doing it, or they're greedy. They don't want to share it with somebody. So me, I'd like to, if I have to pay somebody $10,000 a month, he better be worth it.
Yeah.
And if I'm hiring him, I guess he knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? I mean, she better know what he's doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, money, you gotta spend the money. You want to make money, you gotta spend money.
And Ivan, that goes back to what we were talking about before too, where if your primary goal is making money and you're too afraid to spend money on that salesperson, whoever, that's it. Your business could be done. You have to invest in your own business, grow yourself, because when you're thinking of that money as a tool, right? Money comes in from a job instead of saying, oh, awesome, I'm going to start saving it up like I'm going to become rich now. No, that money's a tool. And especially when you're growing your business, that is the time to invest it in yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally. Love it.
So to answer your question, which was, I kind of forgot the question. What would I do differently?
Going back from when you started to today, where exactly?
Okay. So I've been in construction for about 16 years now, anywhere from the install to production management to marketing to sales, working at an office, working in the field, working hands-on. I would say if I were to go back, I would probably do the first sales job that I could get, because I feel like the sales, doing sales and working with people has pushed me to places I was very uncomfortable with. Being able to start a conversation, present a product, and do a lot of things that were outside of my comfort level, which not only brings me a good income today, but I feel like it actually changed every aspect of my life. It made me a more confident person, made me more comfortable being myself. Because it's funny to me to think I would be driving when I first started to a homeowner's house, and I would be scared to go in. My hands would be shaking. There was an appointment that my hands were shaking so much, I was writing on a piece of paper the total for a solar, and it was so blurry, she didn't understand what was on the notepad. That's how nervous I was. I'm sweating.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if this calculation is right. Everything is just, the numbers are all blurry. There's sweat dripping on the paper. She's like, are you okay?
Yeah. So I've done a few sales, with them, so I know what you're talking about.
So to go somewhere there where, you're literally scared to walk into someone's house, to now that thought actually makes me laugh. And that journey of working in sales and working with people, I feel like it's something that you can take to any field, any industry, anything in life, is being able to communicate and do sales. So I think for me, if I were to do it sooner, I feel like that would probably be the biggest change or benefit in my life. But at this point, it is what it is. But I'm definitely happy that that's a risk that I was willing to take and go out there. I've done door knocking. I've done,
fun.
I've been out there, cold calls. So I would say, a certain level of difficulty and challenge, we need that as individuals to grow and develop. So I would say that's definitely the biggest change is in my life, in my personal career. My private life is like venturing out into the world of sales.
Totally. And it's so funny too, because one thing I took away, or really two things I took away from that is, one, pressure builds diamonds, right? When you're uncomfortable is when you grow. So getting in those situations where like maybe you just do a day of cold calling because you're like, I hate cold calling, I'm not good at it. I get nervous when I talk to people. If you're just starting out, hearing no over the phone a ton of times, realizing like that, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought, getting closer and closer to, setting up a meet, whatever it is, whatever case it is, just go out, do a day of cold calling, because that'll really kind of, I guess, get you over that fear pretty quick. But at the same sense, the only true way to like understand your market and understand how people that you're trying to sell to buy is just by doing it. Right? Yeah. You can take all the courses you want. You can learn all the stuff you want, but really when you're out in the field, those repetitions, that's what you need to become, we're the level where you guys are right now.
Yeah.
Totally. So we'll wrap things up here. Really, really great podcast today. And I want to know, more importantly, the people want to know, where can we learn more about you guys? Where can we find you? Where can we check everything out?
I'll let Joe say that.
So you can find us online. Probably the easiest way is modernhomecrafter.com. There's all our information there. There's links to our Instagram, Facebook. So you can also look us up on Google. You can read our Google reviews. On our website, you'll be able to see what we do. So right now, we're specializing in bathrooms and kitchens. So you would be able to see exactly what we can do in there, which is pretty much everything. Look at the gallery and fill out the contact form.
We're expanding, right?
Yeah. And then we're also going to be expanding. So that's something that me and Ivan would be doing a partnership in exterior solutions. So that's
nice.
We're starting with roofing, siding, painting, and windows. So that's just a business venture we're going to be taking on. And then after that, we're planning to get into commercial real estate.
Fantastic. And guys, as always, that stuff's going to be linked down below. I'll drop all the links to that, but go to this website because I'm looking at it right now. The gallery, they got some good work. I'll just say it outright. It's very impressive. The website's very well set up. It's intelligently set up. And that's what is important, but drop those links below. Ivan, Joe, thanks for coming on today. I know I appreciate it, and I know our listeners appreciate it as well.
Thank you, Grant.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome.
So much, Grant.